So yeah, can you just take us through your journey in real estate and tell us more about what specific services or solutions you offer today?
Well, that's a good question. I don't want to bore whoever's watching this, but you asked the question. Yeah, I've been doing real estate. I think I just capped that 23-year mark in real estate, and did it down in Florida for a while. Went through the REO phase, did a bunch of that. Moved up to Charlotte in '08, Charlotte, North Carolina. Did some REOs back then, and then right at the end of that, right before we started coming out of the last bust, a friend of mine reached out and he says, "Hey, I'm buying these leads and I'm listing these houses and I'm killing it." And I said, "Man, you can't go out there and buy leads. We've been told our entire lives, don't go buy leads. How much are they? You're crazy. You can't be buying leads like that." And I said, "Okay." So we went out, we started buying some leads, and we just started knocking down listings like there was no tomorrow. This was, I think, like the summer of 10 or 11, 2010, 11, 12. Anyway, gets foggy. But back then, just coming out of the crisis, might have been 12. Anyway, start buying leads and things just go freaking crazy. We just started listing these like crazy. We go out to the seller, give them a solution. We could buy it. We could do some investor solution. We could do creative financing. And if you don't like any of those, by the way, we can list it as well. And it just went nuts. The magic number that I'll never forget, in the spring of that year, I had pulled aboard a listing partner because I was going to transition into coaching, which I'll talk in one quick second. In September of that fall, he listed 18 houses, which is running. And it was all done paper lead stuff. So what we said was, we've kind of got lightning in a bottle here. Let's turn around and go sell this. I wanted to coach. And so we took this entire philosophy, exactly what we say, how we follow up, what we do, what's the text, what's the conversion, what do you do at the kitchen table, what solutions do you provide, all those things that you need. And I started a coaching company back then. And I had met Amir. Those of you that don't know Amir, he's the owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company. And we became good friends. He would come to my events and talk to all the people and explain the process and all that kind of stuff. And so then coached for years and years and years and years, just coach, 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 and took this all over the country. And we did wildly well. Um, the group I have, I love your name because Motivated Sellers, the group that I run is Motivated Seller Blueprint. And it's a free group. If anyone wants to jump in there, they just jump in there. We just talk about this stuff all the time. Anyway, I decided not that long ago that I wanted to go back out in the field. I kind of saw this blip that we were going through, similarly to that blip, different circumstances, of course, but incredible opportunities. And boy, am I glad I did that. So I'm back out in the field selling. I still have some coaching clients. I don't promote my coaching business really that much anymore. I do some one-on-one stuff, but I'm back out in the field selling, talking to these sellers, exactly with the leads from Need to Sell, from Motivated Sellers. And they're the best leads on the planet. They have been for, I don't know, call it a dozen years that I've been getting leads from you guys, and they're the best. And I just love working with them. They're easy to convert. That's it. It's been fun. So sorry about that long-winded answer, but I think it parlays into what a lot of people in real estate are going through right now.
I love that. So mostly after hearing what you said, your whole business and your whole coaching business was inspired from the whole 2010 scenario. Is there another inspiration of how you got into like real estate?
No, I think yeah, I was in corporate America and stuff like that. That's more of a boring story, but I just love real estate. It's many of the people that we talk to, they need help. They need someone competent to come out there and give them a solution. And we need to get out there and get in front of them and just help them. And they need help, especially now, probably now more than ever.
I've heard from Amir that, and I also saw your LinkedIn. So I saw you're really good with negotiation, and negotiation is very important in real estate. How do you handle the negotiation process with sellers? And are there any strategies you found to be particularly effective when working with motivated sellers?
Yeah, and this may come off as a bit of a surprise, but I have found that the best thing to do is give them what they want. And you could say, well, wait, I'm a real estate investor and I don't want to give them what they want. I got money to make, or I'm a real estate agent and I don't want to take an overpriced house. All those things, I get it, but it's their house and it's their money. And you should have enough solutions in your toolbox to be able to get them what they want. And the more solutions you can provide and the more service that you can provide to them, the more business you're going to do. If you're a one trick pony and you talk to all the people on the phone or text and you send them an offer before you ever meet them, no offense, good luck. It's hard to do. It's glamorous. It looks good on IG, looks good on Facebook. Come do my virtual blah, blah, blah. Good luck. It's a lot harder. People are savvy. People need real solutions. And if we're only offering one solution, like if all we do is list, if all we do is buy in the traditional wholesale side, if all we do is pay 70% of ARV minus repairs, if we only have one solution, it's like a handyman only walking around with a hammer. And that's the only tool in their tool belt. It's going to go broke pretty soon. So we have to have multiple solutions. So my trick to negotiation is when you truly understand who that seller is and they know, like, and trust you. By the way, they don't do that on the first phone call. They don't know, like, and trust you on a phone call. When they know, like, and trust you and they can look in your eyes and say, this person's here to help me, they'll tell you what they want. And then you give it to them. And then you serve them. And sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's hairy and sticky and ugly. But guess what? That's what we signed up to do. We're not selling widgets, we're selling houses, for God's sakes. We get paid very well for what we do. We have to go to work to do it. That's my trick to negotiation. Find out what they want. And as soon as they tell you what they want, that's when they trust you.
That's amazing. Great, great answer. Thank you, Jim. Okay, next question is, how do you evaluate a property when considering a deal? What are some key factors that guide your decision-making process?
I'm going to go back to my last answer. You can't evaluate a property without going to it. I'm going to say it again. Yes, you can go on PropStream and Zillow and Redfin and Realtor and the MLS. You can use all the tools and apps that you want, but you don't know if a house smells like cat piss until you walk through a house. You just can't tell. And you don't know the flow. You don't truly know the condition. You don't truly know the motivation, right? You don't truly know those things until you actually can develop a relationship with that person. So I'll use all the tools. I have an underwriting process of all the Redfin, Realtor.com, Zillow, PropStream, MLS, all of those. They'll give me a general sense because if all those numbers are coming in line fairly close, call it 10% of each other, guess what? You're probably in that ballpark. Now you have a bunch of things that you don't understand. You don't truly understand motivation until you have a relationship, right? Motivation can swing price by 50%. You truly don't know condition until you can get in the house. Can you do it on pictures? Kind of, but not as good as being in person. So I evaluate a lot of my final answers when I'm talking with the sellers coming from what they want to do. If they're unreasonable and the condition is terrible, right? And we have a big gap there, we have a lot of talking to do. Does that make sense? And we can do that when we're right there at the property talking with that seller. So you have to have that skill set by which I'm going in this, and this is a general ballpark of what I feel can be in the realm here. We just need to peel back some more layers of onion until we really get to what's going on here to provide the right solution.
That's a great
So
answer.
once again, it's kind of a long answer to that evaluation piece, but I think in general, anyone watching this, any of your group that's watching this, anyone can go in there and do a quick evaluation of the property, but it's deeper than that in many cases, not in all cases. None of this is all cases, of course.
Right? I could tell that you've been in this industry for a while with your answers. They're very, very different in a way that's, hopefully gonna give a lot of insights to our followers.
Well, that's the
Right.
other cool thing about the industry is everyone, my way is not the right way. My way is the right way for me. Fred, who you might talk to next, his way is the right way for Fred. And so that's the beauty of the business. We can all do this the way that we enjoy doing it. There's not a right or wrong. It's what's right or wrong for you. If you love going virtual and you do it all over the United States and you found a way to make that work, incredible. Do more of it. Do more of it. You got that thing down and locked in, do more of it. So there's not a right and a wrong way. My way is not right or wrong. It's right or wrong for me.
Now that you brought up the virtual, and we all know that, especially in real estate, there's always new trends coming, and we
Sure.
see with everything that's going on with AI, the world's changing rapidly. What trends are you seeing in the market right now that investors should be paying attention to when considering flips or wholesale deals?
I think there's a giant pit push on virtual, of course. And by the way, I know some guys knocking down 10 deals a month on virtual. Um, so I get it. And there's a system for that. And that makes sense. So I think virtual is a big thing. I think AI is a big thing in a variety of ways. I've used it to set appointments. I've used it to help marketing. I've used it for research. I've used it to educate myself. AI is obviously giant. I wouldn't totally rely on it for everything. Um, I also do feel, and this probably wouldn't come as a surprise, um, but I also do feel that people are looking for some genuineness and some authenticity and some transparency, and they value that. And there's been a lot of changes in the real estate industry in the last 6 months, a lot of changes in people's perception around the United States with elections and this and all this other kind of stuff. People forever have responded to genuine transparency, authenticity. They've always responded to those things. And anytime you can infiltrate that into your business is good.
So we've been hearing all kinds of accomplishments and great tips from you, and I just wanted to get some answers about what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in your investing journey and how did you overcome them? You seem like a very optimistic guy, and I love it. So I want to hear this answer
Yeah,
from you.
yeah, I'm optimistic, but if I'm going to preach transparency and honesty, I need to talk about, some of the demons as well, right? There's demons that sit on all of our shoulders and they chew at our ears, right? I
I
think one of
agree.
the hardest things is to do what you need to do every day, those income producing activities. It's real easy to follow up with leads when you just put one under contract. It's simple. Anyone can do it. But when you're having a crap day and your confidence is low, which happens to all of us, by the way, or someone peed in your Cheerios that morning, you still need to have those income producing activities that are happening. And that's hard. This business, it's not about the next shiny object. It's not about the squirrel. It's not about the next thing that is the trend. 90% of it is mental. 90% of it is mental. If you don't have very much confidence sitting at a kitchen table or you're having a crap day and you go to a seller's house, they see it instantaneously. In 10 seconds of you walking through that door, they see it. That's mental, right? If you're not doing your income producing activities and the stuff you're supposed to do, guess what? That's mental, right? It's not skill. You know you're supposed to call that lead back. You just don't because you're having a bad day. So it's mental. Those are the hardest things. Those are the hardest things. The other things we can always solve. You say, well, I'm too busy or I don't have enough time. You could solve that with assistance, hiring people. All of those things are pretty easy to do. The skill side of it, the skill side of it, there's not a whole lot of tricks out there. I mean, spend a couple days on YouTube and in chat, and you could figure out everything you need to know about our business for the most part. It's the mental stuff. That's the hard stuff. and you get a hold of that, you're in much, much better shape. You can outbeat all of your competition. I'm a big sports fan, and you could tell. You see this quarterback on the field, or this star basketball player, star golfer, or whoever it is, right? And you see the person out there that's got their head hanging low and their shoulders are down. Then you see the other person that's on fire and yelling and screaming and having a great time. You know who's winning the game without looking at the score because it's mental. It's mental.
Appreciate that answer. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Next question is reflecting back on, like you said, we just had elections. The real estate market has been going crazy up and down the last couple of years. So, as someone who's been investing in the industry for a while now, where do you see the real estate market heading in the next few years? And how should investors prepare for those changes?
That's a great question. I just the other day I ordered a brand new crystal ball on Amazon, but it wasn't on 2 day delivery, so that crystal ball is going to show up here in the next few days. So I'm not totally sure what's going on there. But when people ask me, what do I think? How's the real estate market? I say, in one word, I can sum up the entire real estate market right now. It's weird. The real estate
Very.
market is weird. The numbers don't make sense. We have a supply and demand problem, or we just lower interest rates and things go the opposite way, or we have this house that should sell and it's comped right and it's just sitting there and it makes no sense. All of the data says it should be doing this and it doesn't do that. And you just don't have any answers for it. Some of my real estate friends, they said, Jim, I can't get a comp on this property. I said, well, you've been selling real estate for 20 years. You can't get a comp on a property? What the hell's the matter with you? And they said, no, let me share my screen. Let me show the data. Can you give me a comp? And I, no, it's all over the board. Like an average house of 400,000 or 500,000 might have $150,000 swing in the comps. And you say, what's going on here? It's weird. The real estate market is weird. I think, though, if we were to step back from that kind of fun answer about it, I think in general, the public sentiment goes a long way. If the public is afraid or the public is depressed or saddened, guess what? They don't make major moves. If they feel better about things, they do. If they're stressed out, they hold back. And with the election now over, however you enjoyed or did not like what was going on, it's over. Interest rates pretty much seem under control. They've been pretty stable, right? We might not ever see 3 or 4% again, but relatively stable. We still have a supply and demand problem in most circumstances. And the other thing that I think that is really big is I think real estate has become much more localized even than ever before. You have this tiny pocket of this one town, or it used to be an area of a town. Okay, in this area, you can kind of expect this. And now it's almost like these pockets have shrunk a little bit. So it's incredibly localized. Business is very different on the coast than the Midwest or North or South or those things. So I think it really does come down to understanding what your numbers are, get the stats, jump into whatever thing you use to really start understanding those trends. And once again, no matter where the industry goes, there's always an incredible number of opportunities, right? When we went through the crash of in Florida, it happened in 05, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was before many of the other parts of the country, besides California and Arizona, of course. We jumped on a plane and started talking to all these banks that were selling foreclosures. And we sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of REOs. Well, the entire real estate market was in the tank. And we were selling hundreds and hundreds of REOs. There's an opportunity in every market. We just went through one of the biggest booms in real estate history the last 5, 6 years, right? And guess what? People made money there. So there's money always to be made in down markets. There's money always to be made in up markets. You have to be flexible. You have to look at what's going on there. And then it'll come back to whatever it was, my third or fourth answer that you asked me. How do you help these people go provide the solution that they're looking for? And so it doesn't matter if the market's up. If you're really good and you're on your game, it's cool if the market's up. if you're really good and on your game and the market's down, that's cool too, because we can make money in either one, which once again comes back to the mindset. So I am less concerned about what's going on in the market. I'm more concerned about how I can respond to it. And the more noise we can keep away from our ears and our eyes and the news and all this kind of stuff, the better off we are. Focus on what we can do. What can I do to go help that person? If I'm good at that, doesn't matter what the market does.
I agree. I like how all your answers are also like tied up with one another. It shows that it's all a cycle, and I love it.
And yeah,
Um,
once again, it works for me. But there's just some basic tenets there that I think make sense, and it helps eliminate the excuses. Oh, I can't sell real estate. The interest rates haven't dropped. Really? Is that really the case? Do you realize 30% of all closings in the United States are cash, meaning interest rates don't matter for 30% of the closings? They don't matter. So any talk that you pull up regarding an interest rate or this or that or whatever it is, it's really nonsense if you're on your game. You just go out and help people.
you've said so many great tips and so many great insights that, I hope all our audience are going to enjoy this. The last question, if you have anything left in your pocket, it's going to be what's one piece of advice they would give to someone just starting out in real estate investing? And just a personal question for me is, what states do you think are projected to grow in the real estate industry?
I live in North Carolina. Our growth, we have 133 people a day moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. It doesn't sound like a lot, but day 20, that's a lot. And day 60, that's a lot. And day 400, that's a lot. So I think that there's pockets like that for sure. So I'm not really sure about the states. I know a decent amount about what's going on here. In terms of advice, I think that's a good question. Here's the advice I would offer. I would get rid of the noise. I would get rid of the guru. I would get rid of the YouTube thing. If you're putting this on YouTube, I'm sorry. I don't mean YouTube in general. I mean the person out there that's selling you something or saying this is the next holy grail or this is the next thing or whatever it is. Focus on you. Focus on what you can do. And it's pretty simple. I have a lead. I need to have a relationship with that lead. Yes, a relationship with that lead. And then I need to go provide solutions to that lead and I need to close it. That's the whole business. So it doesn't matter if you get leads from here or there or everywhere. And of course, I love motivated sellers. Been with you guys forever and they are the best leads. But the fact of the matter is you have to complete that process. And so work on you and get rid of the noise because it's not helping you. Just go talk to people and help them. And if that's all you do, you will destroy your competition. None of it will matter. Oh, I need to do innovation. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this. Forget it. Just go talk to people and help them. There's no secret sauce.
Well, that's everything that I have. If there's anything else you would want to add.
Any of you out there, if I can help in any way, come to my group or I'm an easy guy to find. Track me down and I'll be happy to help.
Yeah, thanks again, Jim, for everything.